Going on a cruise is very different from boarding an airplane, so before you start packing, there are some important cruise luggage rules that you need to know, because bringing the wrong things or even packing the right things in the wrong bag can get your luggage delayed or pulled for inspection. Hi there, I'm Ilana from the website lifewellcruise.com. Welcome back to my channel. Now in this video, I'm going to be going over everything that you need to know about cruise luggage this year. This includes what's allowed and what's not, how many bags you can bring, alcohol rules, carry-on must-haves, and a few embarkation day mistakes that even experienced cruisers still make. And if you're a first-time cruiser, I have a bonus segment of a cruise luggage Q&A that I have left for the end. By the end of this video, you'll know what to pack, what to avoid, and how to make sure that your luggage doesn't get delayed or flagged by security. All right, let's start with the basics. How many pieces of luggage can you bring? Now, in contrast to airlines, most cruise lines are not very strict when it comes to how many pieces you can bring or the weight limit, but they do have guidelines and suggestions on their websites. Nearly every cruise line recommends following airline-style limits. This means a maximum of 2 pieces of checked luggage per guest, each a maximum of 50 pounds or 23 kilograms, plus 1 carry-on bag and 1 personal item. Now, it's not manually weighed like at an airport, but consider the fact that a porter has to manually lift the bag and ship cruise crew have to manually handle luggage on the ship. Now, cruise length does make a difference, and many cruise lines do suggest that for 3 to 5 day sailings or shorter sailings, that guests bring 1 piece of luggage as well as 1 carry-on bag or personal bag. Now, this can be a carry-on size piece of luggage, or for practical reasons, it can be a small to medium-sized checked bag. For a week-long cruise, most people bring a full-size piece of luggage as well as a carry-on bag and or personal bag, always remembering that the weight limit shouldn't exceed 50 pounds. And for longer cruises that are 10 to 14 days or even more, you may want to bring an additional checked bag or simply a larger size. Now, something to remember is that even if you're going on a longer cruise, the cabin space and storage doesn't actually increase, so keep that in mind so that you avoid overpacking. What happens to your luggage when you hand it off at the port? Now, when you arrive at the port, you'll hand off your bigger suitcases to a porter. Now, make sure that your cruise luggage tags are printed and securely attached with your cabin number. You can staple, tape them on, or even laminate them, or something that I suggest is buying these reusable plastic luggage tag holders. Now, they do come in 2 sizes depending on the cruise line that you were sailing with. They have been game-changing for me, and I am going to leave them linked down below in the description of this video, along with other cruise essentials. Your porter may ask you a question: do you have your passport or your government ID with you? You will need this to board your cruise ship, and then the porter will take your luggage and place it on a cart where it will be transported to the ship. Now, you might be wondering if you have to tip the porter. While it's not obligatory, it is customary to tip the porter anywhere from $2 up to $5 a bag. Your luggage will then be delivered to your cabin later on the day. If you are staying in a suite, that will be earlier. Now, I always take a quick photo of my luggage before I hand it off, and this way, if it's delayed, at least I have a photo of it that I can show guest services. Luggage scanning. Now, after your luggage is handed off, it doesn't go straight to your cabin. First, it is going to be screened and scanned. It works similar to airport security. They're looking for prohibited items and anything that might violate cruise ship policy. Now, if something looks suspicious, your bag might be pulled aside for inspection, which means it could arrive late to your cabin. Now, don't worry, I will share with you the most current prohibited items list, especially the items that people are getting caught with this year. Carry-on bags. Now, your carry-on bag is your lifeline on embarkation day, because most of the time your cabin will not be ready when you board your cruise. Just like when you arrive at your hotel, check-in time might be 3 p.m. and that's when your hotel room is ready, but until then you're able to enjoy the ship and use the facilities. Now, what kind of carry-on bag should you bring? Well, you could bring a rolling suitcase style carry-on bag, you can bring a weekender style bag, or you can bring a backpack. Now, these days I bring a hard size carry-on bag along with a carry-on or personal bag that I can place on top. In-cabin drop-off on embarkation day. Now, some cruise lines are going to allow you to drop off your items in your cabin as soon as you board, whereas other cruise lines are going to have you wait until anywhere from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. in the afternoon. Now, I really want this video to be helpful, so I am going to share with you the major cruise lines and what you can expect. Now, if you're sailing with Princess, Holland America, Celebrity, or Virgin Voyages, typically your cabin will be ready somewhere around noon. Now, if your cabin is not ready yet, they usually do allow you to at least drop off your carry-on bags, stop in for just a moment in your cabin to put away your valuables, and to come back after the rooms are fully clean and ready. Now, if you're cruising with Royal Caribbean, Carnival, or Norwegian Cruise Line, most of the time you're going to actually have to keep your bags with you until your cabin is ready. And that typically is anywhere from 1 to 3 p.m. Now, there are some exceptions to this. Typically, this is if you are in a suite or if you've purchased some sort of early access program like the Key or Faster to the Fun. Now, in your carry-on bag, make sure that you do have the essentials that you'll need for the first few hours of your cruise. Now, this includes, of course, your documents to board your cruise, like your passport or government ID, your medications, your chargers and electronics, any valuable items and money, a swimsuit and sunscreen if you plan on hanging out by the pool, and optional, a change of clothes for the afternoon or evening. Now, I like to think of it as a first day survival kit, so if your luggage arrives a little bit late for whatever reason, it won't stop you from enjoying the first day of your cruise. Now, by the way, if you're planning a cruise and you want to make sure that you stay organized and you do not forget a thing, I do have the LifeWell Cruise Ultimate Cruise Planner. Now, the LifeWell Cruise Ultimate Cruise Planner is a 47-page downloadable printable cruise planner that you could use from the time that you book your cruise all the way through embarkation and disembarkation. Now, it includes cruise packing lists, it includes cruise embarkation day checklists, cruise shore excursion planning forms, budget planning forms, and more. And the best part is, because it is a downloadable planner, you could print out the pages that you need for as many cruises as you go on. Now, I will leave all of the information about the LifeWell Cruise Ultimate Cruise Planner down below in the description of this video in case you want to check it out. Prohibited items. Now, this is where a lot of first-time cruisers get caught off guard, and even sometimes experienced cruisers, and cruise lines are increasingly strict about this. Now, be sure to leave these at home. Irons and steamers. These are a fire hazard and cannot be brought on a cruise. Candles, incense, and anything with an open flame. Kettles, coffee makers, and anything that can be used as a heating appliance. Drones. Cruise lines are actually quite strict about this. In some cases, you can bring them on board, but be sure to check the cruise line website for the restrictions and any security information that you need to know. Weapons, even things that you might not think of as weapons like utility knives and even plastica replica toys for kids. CBD and any marijuana related products, these are still not permitted on board, even if they might be legal at home. And any surge protected power strips like the ones that you might use at home. Now, most cruise lines do allow passengers to bring non-surge protected power cubes. I will leave my best recommendations down below in the description of this video. However, the exceptions to this rule are Royal Caribbean and Celebrity, who at this time allow only multi-USB outlets. Now, additional items that have been added to the prohibited list this year are travel routers or Wi-Fi hotspots, Bluetooth speakers on Carnival and on Royal Caribbean's private island. And something that might not be specifically mentioned on cruise line websites, but definitely something to be cautious about, is any item that you can buy to sneak alcohol on board. Now, we have at least one cruise line who is watching for this, and they've actually banned a couple of people for life. Now, I will share with you the alcohol rules, but first, let's talk about what to do if you do not have an iron and steamer with you, because you cannot bring that on a cruise. Well, some cruise ships actually have self-service laundry rooms where you can use washing machines and dryers and iron or steam clothing. And otherwise, all cruise lines do have a laundry service where you can send items to be laundered or even just for pressing. Now, especially for cruise lines that do not have self-service laundry rooms, oftentimes they do have a laundry special where you can fill up a bag for about $35 or $40, or in some cases you can purchase a full laundry service for the entirety of your cruise. Now, I do have a little tip, something that I do to take the wrinkles out of my clothing, and I think that a lot of people do this, is bring wrinkle release on a cruise or the equivalent. And what you're going to do is simply spray your items, gonna give them a little tug, And ideally, you'll use a little bit of shower steam that is going to help. Now, please do let me know if you have Downy Wrinkle Release on your cruise essentials packing list. Please let me know down in the comments below. Alcohol rules. Now, this differs a little bit by cruise line, so it can create a bit of confusion. However, most cruise lines do allow passengers to bring 1 bottle of wine or champagne per person on embarkation day. Boxed wine, beer, or hard liquor are not allowed on the majority of cruise lines. Now, something to keep in mind is if you do bring a bottle of wine with you, it could be subject to a corkage fee from $15 up to, in one case, we've been charged over $40 when we drank that bottle of wine in the dining room. And while most major cruise lines do allow you to bring this on board, MSC Cruises is an exception. You cannot bring a bottle of wine on board even on embarkation day. Can you pack food in your checked luggage or even in your carry-on for that matter? Yes, you can bring snacks on board. Now, the only thing is that the food that you bring on board has to be non-perishable, so no homemade treats, fruit, or meat. Now, if you have a baby and you're bringing baby food on board, there might be some exceptions, so take a look at the cruise line website for the details. Now, some other items to never pack in your checked luggage include your passport, government ID, or any important travel documents, your prescription medication, your money, jewelry, electronic, or anything valuable. If your luggage gets delayed or inspected, you'll be glad to have those items with you. And not having your passport or ID with you can result in you being denied boarding. Debarkation luggage. Now, this is where many first-time cruisers make a mistake, and honestly, it's happened even to experienced cruisers. What you'll need to do the last night of your cruise is you're going to have a choice. Either you're going to put your luggage out in the hallway where you're going to have assistance with your luggage. Your luggage is going to be brought outside of the cruise ship into the cruise terminal where you're going to pick it up after you disembark. But the other choice is you could do self-assist disembarkation. And all this really means is that you're going to be responsible for taking your own luggage off the ship. But something to keep in mind is it's not like when you're leaving a hotel. It's leaving a cruise ship and you have thousands of people that are all leaving at the same time. So this means that the elevators are likely going to be full. If you're not able to carry your luggage down several flights of stairs, it might be a better idea to leave your luggage to the crew to help. Luggage disembarkation tags. Now, when it comes to disembarking your cruise ship, you're not going to use the same luggage tags as when you boarded. Instead, your cabin attendant will leave luggage tags in your cabin a few days before the end of your cruise, or alternatively, you can pick them up at guest services. Now, a little tip, if the time does not work for you, don't hesitate to go see guest services to trade those luggage tags for a time that works better. Packing a disembarkation day bag. Now, just like you need an embarkation day bag, you want to make sure that you've left out a disembarkation day bag. Now, your disembarkation day bag should include your toiletries, your medication, any of your valuable items, and anything that you may have placed in the safe. Now, something not to forget is to leave a disembarkation day outfit, or you will be disembarking the cruise ship in the same clothing you wore in the evening. And don't forget to leave out some pajamas as well. Cruise luggage Q&A. Now, before we wrap up, I did want to answer some common questions that come up. Number one, can I bring my own luggage onto the cruise ship rather than using the porters? So you can. If you're traveling light or carry-on only, you can actually bring your luggage right onto the cruise ship. Now, you are going to have to pass through security. It's very similar to the TSA security at the airport. You just have to make sure that your luggage is small enough that it fits through the X-ray machine. Now, you also want to make sure that you can maneuver your luggage through the cruise ship, and keep in mind that you may not get into your cabin for hours. If your luggage is larger or heavy, it's best to let the porters take care of it. Do cruise lines ever lose luggage? Now, this comes up a lot, but truthfully, it is very rare. Now, I do remember hearing a couple of cases, and these are very few, where some luggage actually fell into the water at a cruise port. And I think typically what they'll do is they'll actually still bring it onto the cruise ship. After that, the cruise ship will launder the items. Now, this is exceedingly rare, but over the years, at least according to the cruise news, I can remember it happening twice. Now, I am going to leave the LifeWell Cruise Ultimate Cruise Planner linked down below in the description of this video, as well as any of the cruise essentials that I mentioned. And I would love to hear from you. Please let me know when is your upcoming cruise, and let me know any questions that you have. Now, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give it a big thumbs up. I really do appreciate it, and please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Bye for now, and happy cruising.